What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Below Average Brothers podcast. We have got the crew, Jax, Ross, and myself, joined by a good friend of mine, was the preacher at my wedding, known him for a long, long time, Nate Anderson, also former basketball player at Ozark Christian College, long time ago.
Yes.
But he's here to make some picks with us. He's actually got a junior high basketball game to get to, so we're going to get our picks out of the way so he can get to that. But thank you, Nate, for joining us. Anything you've got to say?
Problem. No, man, it's cool. I've been listening to you guys, and I don't listen to like a ton of podcasts, but my brother does one on baseball only, so I listen to that every once in a while. I'm not a huge baseball person, but I do it because I like him more than I like baseball. But then I listen to you guys and then a couple other ones. So you're on the short list, and I like it. So I just figured I'd try to weasel my way on here and lose at all of these picks. So that's my goal, to get last place and make you guys feel really good about yourself. And last thing, before we get started, what an unbelievably crappy week of NFL football games. I just want to say that right off the bat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was texting Nate before this, sending him the games, and at first I only had 4 because the games were so bad, and then we threw on a 5th one just to make it our normal 5. But we're also going to I hope to get Nate on here another time, because I do want to do some interview stuff with college athletes and things like that, and just in another time get him on here and do that, as well as, different than the picks. But we'll get right into it. First up, we've got the Oklahoma State Cowboys against the West Virginia Mountaineers. I will go to the Cowboys fans first. Ross, what you got?
I think this one's pretty obvious for y'all and me. I definitely got the Pokes. Had a great week against Kansas last week, and I think our defense will stay rolling. And I think, what do we hold Kansas to? 3? 55-3?
3 or 55-3.
Yeah. I see the same this weekend with West Virginia. I'm not real impressed with their quarterback, however you say his last name, Doge, whatever you say his last name. But I think Spencer will have another good week, and I got the Cowboys.
Jax?
Yeah, I'm just going to go with Ross on that one. Last week, you saw the dominance on that Oklahoma State defense. Didn't let up a first down until midway through the third. Man, no, it's Kansas, but Kansas hung with OU the week previous. But I think I'm going to go with OSU. I think it's be closer than you'd expect. But, yeah, I'm going to go Oklahoma State.
Nate, who you got?
All right. Well, so you can probably see the Jayhawks stuff in the background, but it is basketball season, so I do have a defense there on my KU Jayhawks logos. Not going to get into the unfortunate penalty that OSU basketball suffered. I think that was kind of bullcrap. But anyway, back to football. I think that you can't count anybody's game against Kansas as anything because they stink. So at West Virginia, I still don't think OSU has a problem. This is the kind of game OSU usually in the past has lost, or at least limped to victory. But I think the running game, I think it's a different OSU team. They don't throw it like slinging it all over the place. And running game and defense always travels. So I'm going to go OSU in a kind of a lower scoring game, but I think they're going to win, keep their hopes alive for a Big 12 championship and all that good stuff. So,
yeah, I agree with all 3 of you guys. I think Oklahoma State. I think Nate made a great point about defense and the running game traveling. Especially, I don't know what the weather is in West Virginia and Morgantown this weekend, but getting this late in the year, it could be really cold, get some bad weather. But I got OSU. Probably in a close game. Next up, go to the SEC. Auburn taking on Texas A&M in I believe it's 13 versus 14. Both of these teams are just ranked because they're in the SEC. So I'll take this one first. I'm actually going to pick Bo Picks and the Auburn Tigers to win this one. I just don't trust Texas A&M. Even though they've beaten Alabama, I still think that Auburn will get it done.
Yeah, I'll go real quick. I'm going to go Auburn and Bo Picks as well, Bryce, just because Bo Picks has played great these last 2 weeks. Actually, surprisingly enough, he's played very good football these last 2 weeks. And I just don't really like A&M, honestly. I know they had the big win over Bama, but I don't really like Like their quarterback, I don't think he's very good, and I just don't think they're a great team.
Yeah, I'd like to disagree with y'all, but I'm gonna have to third that. I'd say I got Bo Picks in this one. Like Jack said, had a good past couple weeks, and I think he'll continue that against pretty mediocre A&M-D.
Yeah, Nate.
All right. Hey, I like it. Except for I'm picking A&M. I'm going to go A&M at home after a bye week. I don't know. I don't really care who wins this game. So it's kind of one of those things where 13 and 14 and two boring teams to watch, like nothing exciting. Really, I mean, I can name one player out of both teams. So, it's not like a high profile thing. It's one of those like SEC games they throw in the middle of the day somewhere and just hope you watch every once in a while. But I think it'll be a slog of a game. It'll be ugly. I think A&M wins, but I wouldn't be surprised if Auburn does either. I think it's like a, 28-27, who cares type of game.
Yeah, I could easily see that as well.
Yeah.
But another game in the SEC that probably shouldn't be close, but LSU, Alabama, normally this game's a huge game on the schedule, but LSU has been a very disappointing team so far this year. So, Nate, I'll let you go first. So you got LSU or Bama?
Well, in short, I'm going to say Bama by a lot, but it is a rivalry game, so anything can happen, I guess. But it's at Bama, and I don't think Bama's going to lose a regular season game going out. Probably, I mean, everybody's kind of upset about them being ranked second, but in the rankings, and I don't know. I still think they're pretty darn good. LSU, the only reason I would even hope for them to win is so I can hear like the post game interview with Coach O, because I can't understand a word that guy says, and it's just awesome it's funny to listen to him. But with all that stuff going on there, and they're just not as talented as normal. Roll Tide.
Yeah, I'll go right off of that. I think Bama wins this one big too. I believe it's in Tuscaloosa too, so it's a home game for Alabama. Another one of those 6 touchdowns type of games. Bama.
Yeah, I got Bama big too. I mean, at home, like Bryce said, I think they're going to play very good football for the rest of the season. Probably won't drop another one. They definitely want to. They still think they have a good enough team to get in, so I believe they do. So I got Bama big.
Ross?
Yeah, I totally agree with y'all. Not much more to say. Bama wins by big. I got Bama.
Yeah, that one was pretty simple. This next one, Nate said before the show that NFL games are bad. There really aren't a whole lot of college games either. But I picked this game because Purdue has a mean streak of winning games against the second or third ranked team in the country. So Michigan State, Purdue's already done it once this year. They beat Iowa a few weeks earlier, and really ended their season. So Ross, who you got? Go Sparty or the Purdue Boilermakers?
I say go Sparty. I think Kenneth Walker will have another great game. I don't know if he'll have 5 TDs last game, but I think we'll have another great game, and that offense will keep on rolling. Not real confident in the Boilermakers, but we'll see. But I definitely got the Spartans in this one.
Yeah, Nate, I'll let you go after that.
All right, man. I kind of think this is one of those games that's going to be a lot like Oklahoma State, West Virginia. I think the running game, defense, I don't know, it seems like a different Michigan State team, very physical. Typical old school Big Ten team. They're not super fast or anything like that, but they get the job done. I think they win this one. Kind of a trap game. They're coming off a big win, but I think they get the job done. And let's face it, if you got to choose between a Spartan and a Boilermaker, which is a friggin' train, I mean, you're going to choose a muscled up warrior guy that cuts people's heads off, So, yeah, Sparty.
Jax?
Yeah, I'm just going to go different, man. I'm going to call the upset. I got Purdue. Fun fact here. Purdue actually has the most wins over the number 2 ranked team in the country, more than any other program. I'm gonna hit y'all with that. I mean,
which
I don't
Michigan
know if
State is 3, but
there's 3. But hey, what's the difference? 2 and 3.
What's the difference?
2's better. But
Yeah.
I mean, Purdue, like you said, I mean, David Bell had a big day when they knocked off Iowa, And I just feel, I feel like MSU is going to have a little bit of a hangover this week, and it's the perfect week for Purdue to come in and
Do it
upset
again.
them. So I'm calling it, man. I'm calling it.
This game is at Purdue, correct? Home game for Purdue, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought so. I'm going to go with Ross and Jax here. I think Michigan State win, or Ross and Nate here. Michigan State wins. Kenneth Walker could easily have 2 bills and a couple touchdowns like he did last week. So I got Sparty in this one pretty handedly, in my opinion. One last college game, another Big 12 battle. Also, before we go to that next game, my wife looked over the script before the show, and she also agreed with Jax. She's got Purdue beating
Go
Michigan
Boilermakers.
State. Okay, so she's on there. She's with you. She also almost picked LSU to beat Alabama. So I don't know if she's your best companion, but she did pick Purdue. Okay. She didn't know LSU wasn't good. Okay. She thought they were still good. Had to remind her. But the next game is the Baylor Bears traveling to TCU to play the Horned Frogs. Baylor ranked 12 in the country. I thought it was a little high. I didn't think they'd be ranked that high. TCU has just played everybody tough this year, honestly. I'll start off here. I've got Baylor winning this just for the hope of it. As a Sooner fan, they can stay with that one loss when we go play them, because it's better for us if they can continue to win. So I'm going to pick Baylor, just hoping that I don't jinx them.
Yeah, I'll take this. I also have Baylor. I think it looks better for us as an OSU fan if they keep on winning. But I think with TCU and Gary Patterson leaving, I think that's really big for that program. I don't know. I think they're, kind of in a lost state right now. I think they'll show it this weekend. But I got Baylor.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with both of y'all. I think Baylor wants to keep their Big 12 chance hopes alive. So I think they'll handle TCU well. And like Ross made a great point with them no longer moving up forward with Gary Patterson. So I think that's going to be a big thing this week.
Yeah, go ahead, Nate.
One of two things can go, it can go either way when you part ways with the coach. You know what I mean? Like, it can galvanize the team. It can put it into even more chaos. So, it's at TCU, I believe. So that probably makes it a little closer. But once again, I think common theme with at least 3 of these games anyway, Baylor runs the ball, man. They run the ball like crazy. And you go on the road and you just pound the rock and you just wear opponents down. That's a formula for success. So I'm picking Baylor.
Yeah, not only the running backs of Baylor, but also the quarterback runs the football for Baylor. So they've hit you from many, many ways. We're going to go ahead and hop straight over into the NFL. Like I said, Nate is got to get out of here at some point, but we're going to hop over into the NFL in these absolutely god-awful games. First one is the Cleveland Browns playing the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals coming off of a horrid loss to Mike White and the New York Jets.
Mike White, baby.
Yeah, Mike White. Didn't know who he was before Sunday afternoon.
White Lightning, baby.
Cleveland, OBJ is probably not going to play. He didn't practice the last 2 days. They're treating it as he's not on the team right now, is what Kevin Stefanski said. Or Baker's still dealing with the torn labrum on that. I know it's not his throwing shoulder, but I mean, they say that cast has his left arm pushed all the way into his body. He can only move his arm from the elbow down. So, that's got to affect, even though it's not your throwing arm, that's still got to affect you as a quarterback. So I'll start here. I got Cincinnati huge. Coming off of that loss to New York, they've got to have something to prove. I mean, you lost to the Jets. I mean, even though it's Mike White, but you still lost to the Jets. So I got Cincy, big. All right.
Yeah, I'll agree
ahead,
with.
Jax.
I'll agree with you. I'm going to go with the Bengals as well. I think it's going to be pretty big. A very heartbreaking loss to Mike White last week in the Jets. I mean, that's just not a very good loss. And a lot of people saw the Bengals as a very good football team. And I think they'll prove that this week, actually. I think they'll win big over Cleveland. And I've said it all year. I'm not really a fan of Cleveland. Not really a fan of Baker. I know he was a great college player, but he just hasn't proven anything to me in the NFL thus far. So I'm going to go with the Bengals.
Yeah, I'll agree with y'all. I think the Browns are starting to look like that dumpster fire organization that they've been for the past 20 years or so, or however long. I think, like y'all said, I think Joe Burrow and that Bengals team are pretty fired up after last week of losing to Mike White and that Jets terrible organization. I got the Bengals in this one, and I got them big.
Yeah, Nate.
Yeah, I'll I'll echo all that. I think the only is get some production out of the ground and get some Miles Garrett and company. But man, when you lose to the Jets, there's no greater motive to come back the next week than losing to the Jets. Well, maybe if you lost to the Lions, but still, yeah. So see, you lose to the Jets and against a guy that was bagging groceries 2 weeks ago. That's a motivation to play better the next week. So Bengals.
Yeah, agree. Completely agree. This
the
next
Jets,
one.
The Jets cut Mike White 4 times last year.
Yeah.
That's boss.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing that kind of guy can go win a game in the NFL. But next up, this game would have been huge without Derrick Henry going out. Derrick Henry goes out early in the week. If you haven't heard that, he could be back for the postseason, but he's out for the next 8 weeks at least. Titans traveling to Los Angeles to play the Rams. Like I said, this would have been a huge game if Derrick Henry is healthy. Without Derrick Henry, I think it's not as good of a game, but I'll kick it to Nate. Who you got in this Titans Rams?
Well, I got the Rams. I think the Rams are one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the NFL when you put all the pieces together. I just left Von Miller. I think that obviously losing Derrick Henry, who has like 300 some more rushing yards, he has more yards after contact than the second place rusher in the NFL. So he's obviously a beast. Rumors were they were working out Adrian Peterson, who's like 77 years old. So the running game's not going to be what it was. Ryan Tannehill has some weapons, but that Rams defense is too much. So Rams by 17.
Yeah, they didn't just work out Peterson.
Yeah,
they signed him. He's on the roster.
Yeah.
So
let's see. That's how much I pay attention to the Tennessee Titans. But this ain't 2005, so we're going Rams.
Yeah, they signed him early in the week to pair him with Jeremy McNichols. So yeah.
I mean, if that doesn't strike fear in the heart of Von Miller and Aaron Donald, Jeremy McNichols and Adrian Peterson, who has to be done by 8:30 p.m. to get back to the old folks' home. Man. Whew.
Yeah. I'm gonna piggyback off Nate. I think Los Angeles wins this one, and I think Von Miller has a huge day. I'm not sure if he's even gonna play, but if he is gonna play, he has a massive day. I mean, Jeremy McNichols, he might have 40 tackles on Jeremy McNichols alone. Like he may tackle McNichols 40 times alone. So I got the Rams. I got the Rams with this one.
Yeah, I also had him. I think I had him at 3 the other day in our power rankings. The Rams all the way in this one, like y'all were saying, not really gonna have to worry about that running game. And when Tannehill doesn't have King Henry, he kind of struggles. I think that's statistically proven. Even with great targets like Julio Jones. But I definitely got that star-studded defense in the Rams, and even that star-studded offense in the Rams. I got the Rams in this one.
Jax.
Yeah, not much more to say. I mean, the Titans are just a completely different team without King Henry. I mean, he's the man. He makes that team go for sure. And I think Tannehill will struggle, like Ross said. Statistically, he has struggled without a run game. So yeah, I think the Rams take care of business here.
Yeah, that one, I think I knew everybody coming in was going to pick the Rams there. This next one, Monday Night Football, Chicago Bears, Pittsburgh Steelers. Y'all know where I'm going. Y'all know why I'm picking the Steelers. I think it will be a tough week. I think Justin Fields is playing much better without Matt Nagy calling the plays, but I just think TJ Watt's going to eat him up a couple times early, and I think this game, it's going to be close, and it's going to be low scoring more than likely, but I got the Steelers.
Yeah, I also will take the homer pick with the Steelers. Shout out to my boy V, Bears fan. We always have fun when we play each other, but I got the Steelers and Big Ben. He might be old as dirt, but he'll pull this one through against the young rook. He'll show him who's the true vet, and we'll win this one.
Yeah, not so fast, my friend, as Lee Corso would say. I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears. Big shout out to V. Big week for V. And I think we're going to add on to it, baby, with the big Bears win, if you know what I mean. And, I think the Bears are going to get to take care of Steelers and take care of Ben Roethlisberger. And, and yeah, I got the Bears. Shout out V.
Okay. Yeah. We lost Nate for a second. He's trying to enter back into the Zoom. So whenever he gets, he seems to be back up. I'll just talk for a couple more minutes, but yeah, Steelers, Bears, huge game. I think.
Dude,
honestly,
I lost you for a second.
Yeah, you're you cut out there for a second. You still there?
Yeah, I'm good now.
Yeah, Steelers, Bears. Who you got? We're up to you.
Oh yeah, Steelers. The Bears are off. I don't care who's calling the plays. I don't really think the Steelers are that great either, but they're getting better. Running the ball, theme of the show, run the friggin' ball. Najee Harris, even bigger Ben gets the job done. Bryson, bro, you've got to get a new shirt if I'm going to, man.
This shirt right here, we're gonna talk about a little later after you leave, sadly. But yeah, this shirt right here, that's what it's all about. For y'all that aren't gonna watch on YouTube, I'm wearing a Duke Blue Devil shirt. So huge Duke fan. Nate, as he said earlier, huge KU fan. Yeah, it could be a Kentucky shirt.
That's disrespectful.
That's true. Yeah. Common enemy.
Yeah, exactly. One common enemy. So I know come Tuesday night, we'll both be cheering for Duke to beat Kentucky. So
that's true. Yes, sir.
Okay. I got you there. All right. This next game in the NFL, we've got the Los Angeles Chargers, who are reeling after a loss to 2 weeks ago. They got beat by the Ravens, correct? And then lost lost to New England last weekend. A game that I thought they would come back and win big, but Chargers, Eagles. Nate, who you got here?
All right, I'm going to say the Chargers train gets back on the tracks this week. Too much talent on offense. I think they get it figured out. The Eagles aren't very good. And I know they're traveling, weather and all that. But I think that the Chargers get the job against the Eagles.
Yeah, Ross?
Yeah, like you said they lost past 2 games, right? I believe.
Yeah.
I think this is a really big week for them, kind of the week to show, like this could really determine the rest of the season for them. If 3 losses in a row after starting really strong, that'd be huge for them, might not make the playoffs. But I think they will get it back on track, like Nate said. I got Justin Herbert in that offense. I think he'll turn it around and have a really big game. And the Eagles just haven't really impressed me this year. Jalen Hurts not playing the greatest, but I got Justin Herbert in that Charger offense.
Yeah, as Jack said just a second ago, not so fast. I've got Philly this weekend of huge. Was it what 38-0?
44-6.
44-6. I mean, I know it was they beat the Lions, correct? I mean, they beat the Lions, but I mean, Cincinnati couldn't beat Mike White and the Jets, so you gotta beat who's in front of you. So I'm gonna take Philly. I think they're riding high. I think they're finally getting Miles Sanders involved. So I'm gonna take Philly. As Nate said in this whole thing, run the football, win the game.
Yeah, not so fast, my friend. To your not so fast, my friend. I'm going to go with the Chargers. Philly, I'm sure they are riding high after the big win, but at the end of the day, it's Detroit. So I think the Chargers are still a good football team, and they're going to put it together this week, and I think they'll beat the Eagles big, actually.
Did you just triple stamp a double stamp with the not so fast, the not so fast? Did you just triple stamp?
Yeah, he did. My goodness. He did.
What a savage.
This last game would have another one of those games that would have been a huge game, but Aaron Rodgers tests positive for COVID this week after lying all season long that he was vaccinated for COVID.
Savage.
Yeah, boss move. So it's Packers traveling to Arrowhead to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are fully loaded. They've got Patrick Mahomes. They've got all their weapons. They're completely healthy. I think it's Jordan Love starting for the Packers. I believe.
Kurt, TikToker.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Kurt.
Yeah. So Jordan Love starting for the Packers. I'll let Jax go here. Jax, who you got? Packers, Chiefs.
I'm gonna go Packers with Jordan Love. I think he's a good quarterback. They weren't so sure that A-Rod was gonna come back this last summer, so I think Jordan Love was prepared for that role. They were in his ear telling him he's gonna be the guy of the future. So I think he's ready. I think he's gonna step up, and I'm gonna go Jordan Love and the Packers.
Once again, Jax, you are backed by Daly. Daly picked the
I like it.
Packers as well, so
It's a good pick.
she's with you, right there with you. I'm gonna say, not a chance. Not a chance for Jordan Love to win. I mean, I know Kansas City's not playing the greatest football right now, but
And they just barely beat the Giants. Am I right? Barely.
They did.
Escaped
But
the Giants.
until I see Jordan Love do something that's not at Utah State University,
Fair enough.
I'm not gonna pick Jordan Love. So I'll take Kansas City. I'll take Patrick Mahomes. I don't think it'll be big, and I think it may even be low scoring. But I got the Kansas City Chiefs. Ross, who you got?
I'm gonna have to agree with Jax. I think Jordan Love steps into the spotlight this week. After Jeff Stain, being told. I mean, he was a first-round pick. Hasn't got his really shot yet besides preseason. I think he shows out against Daniel Sorensen and that Chiefs defense. I don't think there's much talent on that defense besides the Honey Badger and maybe D lineman or two. I think Jordan Love will have a good game. I think Aaron Rodgers is obviously a fan favorite there. He'll never be replaced, but I think he'll show Packers fans that they got an actual future. But I got the Packers in this one.
Nate.
All right, man. Man, this is a tough one. Like, I think it would have everything. Like, Chiefs barely beat the Giants last week, and the Giants are awful. So I don't think that Chiefs offense is quite rolling like they want it to, and like it has in the past. The Giants defense kind of gave a little blueprint for how to slow that down. Maybe I think the Packers defense is every bit as good as the Giants defense. I'm going to go Green Bay because you guys can fill in the blank right here. Once again, they run the ball. The Chiefs defense, Honey Badger, and then pretty much here's the deal. Any defense that has a dude on it, this manhood fell out at the NFL Combine while he's trying to run a 40-yard dash. I can't pick that defense. I can't pick that defense. You know what I mean? I don't trust them.
Yeah.
I don't trust them. So the Chiefs defense gets caught with their pants down. See what I did there, and loses to the Packers at home. Go Green Bay.
Yeah, I do think this game will be interesting. I really do. But it's the thing that scares me is Daniel Sorensen. I mean,
Yeah.
the other 10 guys on the Kansas City defense, but Daniel Sorensen.
Just throw it at him 30 times a game, That's 30 completions.
Hey, I got one more game to add to this. Can we add a game?
Yeah.
Real quick. Can we add Hilldale Fort Gibson?
Oh, the Hornets.
Yeah.
I like it.
The Hilldale Hornets.
I'm rocking with the Hilldale Hornets as well.
Hey, Ross, you better do some work this weekend, my brother. You better get the win.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Battle of the Rock tomorrow night. Big game for us.
Right. We're all in. We're all in on Hilldale. You tell my boy, Coach A, to get that W, and Papa Jordan, whatever you call him now that he's a dad of a boy, probably name him Ross, and go get that W.
Yeah,
Sir.
Hilldale, big time.
All right. Are
Big
you
time.
starting? Are you the starting QB this week?
No.
Not yet.
No. Shout out Kanan. But no. This will be a great week. We've been looking forward to all year. Really excited. Battle of the Rock. Hopefully take it back home. But really excited for tomorrow night.
All right, man. Good luck. I hope you guys play well. Hope you get the win. It's been good chatting with you. I gotta get
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Thank you,
guys
Nate, for
hold
coming
on,
by.
Yeah,
and-
thanks.
Sure.
Dude,
Thanks.
I appreciate it. Anytime. I'll try to get this whole audio technology crap figured out a little bit more on my end, but y'all are doing good work. So keep it up. Love y'all, and
Yeah.
thanks for having me.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, man.
Sure.
Later.
Yeah. Big thank you to Nate. Like I said, he did play college basketball, and if I'm not mistaken, he may be last I checked, he was the all-time leading scorer at Ozark Christian College. It's a little Christian college there in Joplin, Missouri. Great basketball player, great man. He's done a lot of stuff for me and my family. So thanks to him, that's our picks. Next, we're gonna, like we talked about earlier, it's college basketball time. So we'll get into that. Yeah, like I said in the last segment, we're going to get into college basketball. But first, if you guys heard us laughing at the end of that last segment, Nate was having issues getting out of the Zoom. And at one point, it was just his forehead. So it was hilarious to us youngins. We know that people have issues with that, but we just thought that was absolutely hilarious. So next Tuesday night, college basketball kicks off with the is it the Champions Classic nowadays? The State Farm Classic? I don't even know what they call it anymore. It's changed. I think it's the Champions Classic, and I believe they play it at Madison Square Garden. If I'm not mistaken, I can look that up, but I believe they do play that. But game one is Kansas, Michigan State. Kansas is the third ranked team in the country. Michigan State unranked. We were talking before, we're not huge Kansas basketball fans, so we don't know a whole lot about them. But if y'all had to pick a winner in this game, who would y'all take?
Kansas, I mean, off rankings alone, I don't know a whole lot about Kansas basketball. I do know they're going through some stuff with investigation. We'll hit on some of that stuff later, but I'm going to go Kansas and Bill Self.
Ross?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, Kansas has been a powerhouse in the Big 12 and powerhouse in NCAA in general. Like Jack said, Bill Self, Oklahoma boy, always has his troops rallied. I think they'll blow them out. I got Kansas.
Yeah, I think Agbaji and David McCormick and all those guys that have been there a while, I think they'll win it.
Super senior Mitch Lightfoot.
Yeah, super senior Mitch Lightfoot, been there since 2012, basically. The next Perry Ellis.
Perry Ellis was there for 20 years.
Michael Cobbins.
Basically Michael Cobbins. But the next game, the game that Connor and so background. I'm a huge Duke fan. Okay, have been since I was young. And Ross here is a huge Kentucky fan. And he has
NCAA.
Yeah.
NCAA basketball.
Since NCAA basketball, like 09 or 10. Yeah. Whatever the last one was. Ross used to play with Kentucky. And in 2010, Ross was 6 years old. So that's pretty much lifetime. So they play as soon as the KU Michigan State game is done. Kentucky and Duke are going to battle it out. Ross, what do you think about your Wildcat squad this year?
I think this one's pretty obvious. Like I said, been a huge Kentucky fan. Not for sure if I'm going in and out right now. My internet's kind of messed up. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, you're good.
All right, just making sure. Like I said, been a huge Kentucky fan since the John Wall, Boogie Cousins era. Had some great teams. Not for sure what our roster really looks like this year. Haven't been paying attention. It's still football season in my opinion. But I definitely got Wildcats in this one. Coach will have us going. I definitely got go Cats.
Jax, where are you gonna butt in here?
Yeah, I'm in a similar situation with Ross. I believe it's still football season. Haven't looked into either of these teams really. I do think I did see though Jacob Toppin, Obi Toppin's little brothers on that Kentucky roster. I thought that was kind of cool. And because I think that's the coolest thing in this game, I'm gonna go Kentucky. F Duke.
Yeah, of course. I'm the only one. I'm always here by myself on this Duke Island. Everybody hates Duke. I've got Duke, obviously. I really think this year's team's going to be both of these teams, huge disappointments last year. Neither one of them made the NCAA tournament. And it was the first time in, I don't know, a long time, 20-something years probably, since they both missed the NCAA tournament, if not longer.
I think it was longer than that.
Yeah. So I think both of these teams are going to bounce back. I think Kentucky's going to win the SEC, and I think Duke's going to win the ACC. Duke with Paolo Banchero and Jalen Blakes and Mark Coleman and, Joey Baker. It feels like he's been at Duke for 20 years, just still kicking it. I'm surprised Jordan Goldwire's still not there, but transferred to the Sooners, little Sooner transfer. So I think Duke's going to win this one. I think it's going to be a battle. I think it's going to be a battle night one. So, but I got Duke. But this whole college basketball segment was leading to one thing that is important to me because I love the game of college basketball, but really important to Jackson Ross as, Ross said he's a Kentucky fan, but, secondarily, he's a Cowboy fan as well, just like secondarily. I'm a Sooner basketball fan, being here in Oklahoma, but Jax is an OSU basketball fan. Just as he is football, he is primarily an OSU basketball fan. And if you've read the news this week, you've obviously seen that the NCAA denied their appeal to get out of this postseason ban. So this year, the Oklahoma State Cowboys will not be playing in the NCAA tournament. Does that also exclude them from the Big 12 tournament, or is that just the NCAA?
I think it's all postseason activity, so it includes.
Oh wow!
It would be the Big 12, the NCAA, or even the NIT. Correct.
That's my understanding. Don't quote me on it.
I believe that is correct as well. That's the way I took it. So, we were talking about Kansas. They were another one of these teams that were involved in this postseason ban. But Jax, just what are your thoughts on this postseason ban?
I mean, I'm not biased. Obviously I'm biased towards my Pokes, but in this situation, I just think it's uncalled for. Really, I believe the accusation was several years ago. I want to say 5-6 years ago. I actually saw a stat. Isaac Likely, he's our oldest. He's like our 6th-year senior. He wasn't even a part of the program at the time. And then our freshman class, which we got a very good freshman class, we're in 7th grade whenever this happened. So, at this point, you're punishing the kids. You're not punishing the program. It has nothing to do with the program. We're going to be back playing next year. I mean, 1 year is not going to matter. You're punishing these kids and their chance to, they came to Oklahoma State and thought that, Oklahoma State's a uprising program in the Big 12 with Mike Boynton. And I mean, they wanted to play for a championship, and I believe they had the talent this year to for sure compete in the Big 12 and probably even on the national stage in the Big Dance. And it's just very disappointing, and I feel super bad for these kids and their parents. But I mean, if you watch the Mike Boynton interview as a Pokes fan, you have to be excited about that dude, man. Very passionate about his team. And I think he's going to bring in a lot of recruits, and I think we'll take a deeper look at the NCAA after this, because his interview, I mean, I encourage you to go watch that. It was very heartfelt. I mean, that's my broad aspect on it. I just don't really agree with it, regardless if it's on my Pokes or not. I just don't understand. I mean, I don't get the punishment, maybe punish recruiting, take some some scholarships away. Yeah, do something like that. Find the school, but the people who were involved in the program are no longer involved. So you're punishing the wrong people. I just don't really understand it. And I think it's been an issue in the NCAA for a while,
Well, isn't this like long before Boynton was even the head coach? Wasn't this a Brad Underwood issue?
Yeah, it was Brad Underwood. It was Brad Underwood's very first year, I believe. So,
and it wasn't even, I don't even think it was Underwood. Wasn't his
staff, his assistant. It was an assistant, and I believe he was fired within
immediately.
He was fired within 24 hours, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think I saw somewhere, and it may have been Boynton. I think the infraction, it was a very minute infraction. I don't want to say stuff that I don't know about, but I believe they did there's 5 major rules. I don't know if y'all are aware with the NCAA's ruling against these kind of things. There are 5 major rules, and if you hit any of those 5, it's an automatic ban. In Oklahoma State, there was none of the 5 were involved. So that's really the big controversy on it, is they didn't even make the big mistake. I don't know exactly what was done, but it wasn't anything major.
Yeah.
Ross, go ahead.
Yeah, I think Jax hit on a lot of the points. I mean, there's not much more to say, but like Jax was saying, Coach B, he loves his job, and you can tell, and it's great as a Pokes fan, to have someone in there that just works every day. Like, I love checking out Instagram, what he posts. Seems like a really good dude, but like Jax was saying, it hurts. The main people it hurts is definitely the players. You look back over the years and you look at players that played in the NCAA tournament, and that's the only way they got the shot in the league. When you look at Dante DiVincenzo, if he doesn't go on that NCAA run, is he in the league right now? I mean, actually, not. Is he genuinely in the league? Is John Morant? Was he the number?
Rised a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, these guys, they make their careers out of these big time games.
Well, what was the kid from Gonzaga, Brandon Clark? when
Brandon
he went
Clark,
from
yeah.
undrafted to like a lottery pick.
13, yeah. I mean, yeah, they make their name for
Jared
themselves in these
Butler,
big
I mean,
games.
just look at last year. You know,
Davion Mitchell, I don't think he was a
Davion,
draft pick until he went off for Baylor.
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, I think it just showcases these guys' talents where when you can't even play in the Big 12 tournament, that's huge. I'm sure Pokes fans or Pokes players are just, heartbroken. I would be as a player. You love to compete at the highest level and you can't for something that you didn't even do. Like Jack said, it was, like you said, Isaac Likely, the dude's been there forever and he wasn't even a part of the program. But I think we'll bounce back. I'm not really concerned about it. I was really looking forward to them to make a deep run in it, but it is what it is. It sucks, but it is what it is.
Has anybody wanted to transfer? Has anybody seen? I mean, I know like Bryce Thompson transferred into Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think
I believe they're gonna stay. I mean,
everybody's
I think
just
they're
going to
pretty
ride
committed.
it out.
Yeah, I was listening to Boynton talking the other day, and I guess he had to break the news to his players, obviously. And he asked the NCAA, said, "Hey, if y'all are gonna rule against this, y'all come break it to my players." Yeah, and they refused, and I believe whenever he was breaking it down, a kid in the locker room raised his hand and said, "Coach, what are we talking about?" That's how long ago this was. I mean, these kids had nothing to do with the program, and it's
Wasn't
super
all of this
unfair.
like you said, it's a long time, so my memory is I need it jogged. Wasn't this all to do with shoes? Wasn't this all to do
I'm not
with
exactly sure. See, I was never sure on
sure
exactly what it
situation.
was.
Fine.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not that, but it was something very minute. I know.
I believe it was that these assistants were taking money from big shoe companies. I believe it was Adidas and Nike were giving money, like small amounts, like less than $5,000 in some cases, to these assistant coaches.
Yeah.
I think it was very small, and I feel like it had something to do with shoes. I may be wrong, but I feel like it was definitely to do with shoe companies.
It says just abroad from the athletic staff, Oklahoma State probe into bribery and corruption in basketball recruiting.
Okay.
So it may have had something to do.
That's okay. That's very broad.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like we're pulling a Tennessee, right? They were handing out money bags, basically.
Yeah.
McDonald's bags full of money, or back in the day, SMU handing out cars to their recruits and their players. Like they got a lifetime ban. I mean, I even if it's whatever.
This ain't Louisville.
Yeah, no,
giving tours with promiscuous women.
Yeah. See, that's what I don't. That's what I just don't get. I just don't get it. Like, I don't think it's fair.
I understand. Rick Pitino basically being. I mean, I know he's at Iona now, but he was pretty much banished from any big time job. But I mean, that situation is much different than what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, completely. Different.
And from what I've seen, it's the reason that Oklahoma State is in trouble is because they cooperated. I believe that I believe if I remember right, it was Arizona, which the Miller guy, their head coach for the long time, he's gone. So he's out of there as well. And it's Kansas. Those are the three schools, the big schools that are. But I believe, if I remember right, and I don't want to say too much because I don't want to be wrong, but I think those two schools aren't cooperating with the NCAA. They're making the NCAA do their own investigation and find it all out on their own. Where Oklahoma State said, they came out and said, yeah, this dude did it. This is what happened. He's gone. But by them cooperating, it basically ended up getting them a postseason ban. Yeah.
I mean, I don't get it. Like you said, I know I was in the Boynton interview. He mentions that, he had on the same day that they played Kansas last year, he had a hearing. So, he was taken away from his guys on game day, as well as Bedlam last year also had a hearing for the situation. So, I mean, and you're cooperating at the end of the day, and you're cooperating on behalf of
your players.
Something that you had nothing to do with,
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I just don't understand. He was trying to do the best in his situation, and I credit to him for cooperating because I think that's the right thing to do in a situation like that. But I think the NCAA should have rewarded them in that sense. If you're going to cooperate, you should be rewarded. I think if you're not going to cooperate, regardless if you're in trouble or not, I think you should receive some sort of ban if you're not cooperating.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, what are you hiding at that point?
I think
they're hiding something.
The good thing that comes from this is I think a lot of players are going to respect that Boynton would go through all of that, hearings on game days and the public humiliation. I mean, that's humiliating to go up there and have to give that interview that you've been banned from the postseason. Like that's one of the worst things that the NCAA can do to you. They can take scholarships, they can fine you, but that postseason ban, man, that doesn't happen very often. And it's huge when it does, like that's a big, big deal. But, I think it's going to get him a lot of respect from recruits, other coaches, the university. I mean, I don't, just for this situation alone, I don't see OSU getting rid of Mike Boynton for a long time. I mean, he's standing up for things that he didn't do, and people that aren't on his, like, he's standing up and doing this for his players, even though none of them had anything to do with it.
Yeah. You can criticize him for his X's and his O's, but I don't think you can ever criticize, the way he coaches just his players, just a very people person, you know what I'm saying? You can tell he loves his kids. And, as an OSU fan, I wouldn't rather have anyone else in that position.
Yeah. I think he was a very good hire in that sense. I think he's a player's coach. Players love to play for this guy. He's a very passionate guy. Like Ross said, I think he's extremely thankful for the position he's in. And I think, with how he blew it up in the interview, I don't know if y'all got a chance to watch that, how he kind of blew it up. I think the ball's to an extent back in the NCAA's court, because I think a lot of people are, questioning the reasoning behind it, and their rules. And I think that's probably the biggest thing out of the whole situation. Maybe they need to investigate the investigation, look into that. Because it's not valid to an extent.
And another big thing that comes to my mind with everything is the NIL. Like, how does that play a part in it? You're allowing these players to make money, but you're going to punish them because they took money.
You're going to post-date the punishment,
Yeah, it kind of contradicts itself, in my opinion, with the whole NIL thing.
Well,
players making tons of money.
It's just like, when they first came out with the NIL, I know this is going way back a couple months ago, but, them not giving Reggie Bush his Heisman Trophy back. All of this is just, in my opinion, dumb. Just
it overlaps each other. It doesn't make sense.
It's like you're allowing these kids to make money, but the people that did it 20 years ago and Reggie Bush's entire reputation and his entire image was
destroyed.
Destroyed or tarnished at least. Probably not destroyed because he still had a good NFL career.
Successful.
I believe he was on that Super Bowl team with the Saints. I mean, he had a good career. But when you think of Reggie Bush, you think of USC. You don't think of the NFL. You think of Reggie Bush and USC, and you think of how he the only person to ever have his Heisman Trophy stripped?
Yeah,
I believe.
Because Cam didn't. Cam got to keep his, I believe.
Yeah, I believe he's the only person to ever be stripped of a Heisman Trophy. So, I mean, all of this stuff, like, just let it go. Like, all of the things that have happened in the past, I mean, now it's legal. So, what are we fighting for? Like, what are we arguing about? What's the big deal anymore? I get when it was illegal, which I don't know about you guys, but I'm all for college athletes getting paid. That's I'm 100%. I believe they make, especially NCAA football and basketball players. I mean, the NCAA tournament makes $1 billion. And the players before now were seeing this much of it, $0. Weren't seeing a lick of it. And I seen a thing last year with COVID that the city of Tuscaloosa would have lost $1 billion in revenue if Alabama wouldn't have played football. If they'd had to cancel games due to COVID, they'd have lost $1 billion. I mean, we're talking about one of the biggest industries in America. These kids, and they've been doing it for free. I mean, I get scholarships, full ride scholarships, but I've done plenty of research on full ride scholarships. They're not full rides. People are still paying out of pocket to go to school.
It's your job. It's football or basketball, whatever sport you play.
You don't have time to make money.
Have another job.
And they can't. I mean, before NIL, college athletes could not work a job. They could not make money in any other way. So and this kind of got in a serious discussion, which we don't normally do, but I enjoy it a lot, to be honest with you. I think the NIL is great. If you can handle it. We've seen situations this year like Spencer Rattler, who maybe
DJ.
they can't handle it.
Ogabadogi.
DJ Ugabadugi, those guys. And even early in the year, Thibodeau, I think, from Oregon had some issues with it, but he's finally come on. He's finally starting to play better. But I just think that this ban, and maybe the NCAA goes back on their ruling. I don't know if they've ever done that before, but maybe this public, it seems like a public outrage or outcry for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. And maybe the NCAA reviews it, goes back and, reviews the investigation and does something about it. I don't see it happening. I think the NCAA, and I don't even know if Mark Emmert is the NCAA commissioner anymore, but I think it's extremely dumb. I'm ready to see what happens to these people that were doing it even worse than OSU. Are we looking at a 1-year ban, a 5-year ban, or is it just going to be an ever long, just a continuing investigation because they won't cooperate?
Yeah. I was gonna say too how you brought it into the broad aspect of how much the NCAA makes off these kids, and what I thought was a mockery of the whole situation is, and Oklahoma State last year, if you know basketball, had the number 1 recruit, Cade Cunningham everyone knew coming in was gonna be the consensus number 1 overall pick, and they allow us to play last year. I know they knew. I'm sure they had to have known, everything that they needed to know, and they dropped the hammer now. So I believe they were fully taking advantage of the money they were going to make off of Cade. Why was the hammer dropped last year when you knew about it, or years back whenever it was committed, like we said, 7 years back? Why is the hammer just now getting dropped? And I think it was last year, it was, if you remember at the start of the season, it was going to come down. Originally, they ruled it against us, but Boynton fought it and he cooperated. But so I think that was a situation, where the NCAA sees, hey, Cade's coming in.
Yeah.
He's the number 1 pick. He's box office. They're going to make the tournament. We're going to make money off this kid. And I think that's a big question mark too. And I don't think enough people are talking about that really. I think that's like an obvious, NCAA just abusing the situation.
Yeah, because so they obviously brought the penalty down, but like you said, Mike Boynton appealed it. They could have immediately said, nah, we're not appealing this. We've already looked at it for 5 years. What is there more to look at? Exactly. But I think you're completely right. Like they seen, we got a stud. And is it different if Cunningham doesn't go? Do they just leave it and call it good last year? You never know. I agree with you, Jax. I think Cade Cunningham coming in probably changed a lot, but that doesn't change the guys. I think OSU's still a tournament team.
Oh, I think they're a very good team. I think
they're a very good team. I could see them being, if they were to be able to make the postseason, 6 or 7 seed,
for sure. We were placed
the top line,
Yeah. Bryce Thompson, if people, you don't forget him. He was the top 15 player in that ESPN 300. He's a stud.
He was a McDonald's All-American.
We got a big time transfer class,
From a kid from
likely. Avery Anderson last year came on late and went off.
He was gonna declare. He probably would have got drafted if he comes out last year, but he wanted to stay to have a chance at a chip because he knew. Yeah. But it's just sad. It really is. It's really just sad.
And going back to Mike Boynton, like last year, ESPN, like I don't know if y'all watch much of like ESPN's coverage on college basketball, but like Jay Billis does this thing where it's called 90 feet with somebody, and he'll walk the length of the court and interview him as many questions as he can get in that length of the court. But he did one with Boynton, and they also did features on him. He's just from a little bitty, like he's from Harlem, New York. He's from New York City, went to a little bitty school, and he wants to recruit guys like him, that didn't have it all, and give them something, like, and you can see that in his players, like they play for him, like harder than almost any coach in the country, and it just shows how much like that interview that he did the other day, because I did watch some of it. It just shows how much, he's not from Oklahoma State. He's from Harlem, New York, like he is not from Oklahoma State, but this program means everything to him. And you can't say that about a lot of other coaches,
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the Bryce Thompson kid, for instance, he played for one of the best coaches, in the NCAA with Bill Self. And there's a reason he went to OSU. I get it. He's from Tulsa, played at Booker T or whatnot, but there's a reason, what I'm saying? If he thought he would be in a better situation at Kansas, he would have stayed. But I'm sure Coach B had a big part in him coming back. And that just shows to me. But at the end of the day, to me, the NCAA is Bobby Boucher's mama would say the devil. I've never agreed with the NCAA in my opinion. Not a huge fan of them.
Yeah, I completely agree. We'll get off that postseason and NCAA talk. I meant to do this before we got into this, so we get in the show with the postseason ban. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go with our before the season starts, who we've got winning the national championship. Jax, I'll let you start.
My early favorite so far, it would have been Oklahoma State, just a big homer pick, but sadly, so far looks like they're not gonna get to play. I'm gonna go with the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Very good team last year, just came up short against Baylor, but Mark Few's a great head coach. They landed Chet Holmgren. I mean, a lot of
He's
people fan of his
gross to
game.
look at.
He's not.
Slim Reaper.
Yeah, he's not fun to look at. I'll tell
He
you
looks
that.
like Shaggy.
Yeah, he's about 7'3", 165 pounds. I mean, he's tiny.
And with a mop bucket on his head.
Yeah, he's got guard skills though. I mean, he's got guard skills. Dude can shoot and
Drew Timmy with that mustache. I mean,
yeah. I mean, that's a tough.
They're gonna be pretty good.
Tough front court. Yeah, that's Drew Timmy. Chet Holmgren. I think they returned quite a few people. They had a big recruiting class as well outside of Holmgren. So that's why they're my favorite.
Ross, who you got, and why is it Kentucky?
I'm actually not going to go with Kentucky. I feel like I jinx them every single year. That's why. But I'm going to go with a Kentucky kid. I'm going to go with the UCLA Bruins and Johnny Juzang. He had a great tournament last year and barely got beat by the Zags. And, the Zags are always up there, number 1, number 2, number 3, whatever. But they've never produced in the NCAA. I mean, if they were to produce, it would have been last year with Jalen Suggs and Corey Kispert in that group. But I got the Bruins and Johnny Juzang. I love his game. I think he's a great player. Could have went to the league like Jax. We were talking earlier. He thought he went to the league. I think he'll be an Naismith Award top guy. You know what I'm saying? But I got the Bruins.
Yeah, I would say Duke. That's because that's what I do. But I can't, like Ross said, I think Duke's gonna be very good, but I'm gonna go. It is an even year, right? It'll be an even year once the tournament comes around. 2022 tournament.
2022. Yeah.
Yeah, I got Villanova. Villanova always, they won in 2016, they won in 2018, wasn't a tournament in 2020. It's 2022.
It's their time.
Villanova.
Fair enough.
And what is his name? They have somebody, Colin Gillespie, 24th year senior.
Gillespie. Oh my goodness, he's still there.
Brian Archidiakono part 2, basically.
Hey, they have Chris Archidiakono, brother. How about that? Junior, Langhorne, Pennsylvania. Didn't know that. Yeah,
didn't know
Chris
that.
Archidiakono, however you say his name. He's back. He's there. But they've also got, Colin Gillespie. Colin Gillespie's been there.
He's an NBA player. Like, the dude's 30.
So, and I truly think Jay Wright is one of the best college coaches in the country. Jay Wright's, he's up there with Bill Self, Coach K, Coach Cal. He's right up there with them. Like we were talking about in the pregame before we started. Texas. Texas is in the top 10. Texas and lost Shaka Smart. Shaka Smart went to Marquette, but brought in Chris Beard, coach from Texas Tech, and he's made Texas Tech way overperform in the last couple of years. So I could see Texas winning. I think this year is going to be a lot like last year, where it's pretty wide open.
Yeah.
I was gonna pick UCLA before Ross picked UCLA because I do think Johnny Juzang is that dude. I think last year was the first time they were the first team to ever go from the first 4 to the final 4.
Yeah.
So I think this year, like y'all said, it's still football season, and it's going to be football season for a while. But Tuesday night will be fun. You get that KU, Michigan State, Kentucky, Duke. After that, it's pretty much a lot of Duke
Popcorn State.
Yeah. Duke versus Gardner Webb or Charleston Southern.
High.
Yeah.
Basically. Looking here though, Baylor at 8. How do y'all feel about that? Coming off
I just think they lost. They lost Jared Butler and Davion Mitchell, and they kept Matthew Mayer, right? Is that his name? The white kid.
The white kid check here.
Yeah. I think the Big 12 may be the best conference in basketball.
Legit. I think they are. I think they were one of the best last year.
You know, because
Just
you got.
not-
I mean, KU or OSU still gets to play regular season games, so they could easily
they
spoil
could
somebody. They
they'll
could still
shake
win,
stuff up. Yeah.
and they could still win the regular season Big 12. Like that's
Yeah.
not something
I think
they,
that would be awesome. You know,
they could
Yeah.
stick it to them and win. I mean, like Ross and our dad was a high school basketball coach, and he used to take both of us to OSU basketball games because he got free tickets. So even as an OU fan, I kind of enjoy OSU basketball. I mean, I was in the building when Marcus Smart upset Andrew Wiggins and they rushed the floor. Like that was one of the coolest experiences I've ever seen. You know, Marcus Smart hits that three. You know, Marcus Smart, the game before at KU was hitting the backflip on the Jayhawk. Like,
Yeah, that was boss.
it was like we got to watch a lot of cool stuff. You know, Marcus Brown, was that his name? High flyer.
Markel Brown.
Markel Brown. That's right. Yeah, you know that dude. So I truly do have I actually genuinely like OSU basketball, and I have for a long time. You know, so I hope they go and win the Big 12. I really do. The regular season, that would be awesome. But I mean, that the competition: Texas, OSU, Kansas, Baylor.
Yeah, it's there.
You know, as long as old Huggies down in West Virginia, they're going to be decent just by their style of play.
West
you know,
Virginia, yeah.
So that's all we got for tonight. You know, it was a lot of fun. Nate was a lot of fun. Talking some college basketball for the first time all year was fun. We'll get back next week with probably more NBA, some NFL, a little update, live update. Jets Colts Thursday night football. Mike White has already scored. It is 7-7. One of the worst Thursday night football games I think we could have got, but so that's
always a treat watching Mike White, though, isn't it?
It is a
He's in
treat.
the Hall of Fame. Y'all see that?
Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame.
Western Kentucky.
Western Kentucky, baby.
Oh God.
No, his jersey's actually in the NFL Hall of Fame. His jersey and the game.
Oh yes, I seen that because he
yeah.
was a second ever rookie, throw for 400.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what we got for tonight. I'll do my, I didn't promote at the beginning, but TikTok, Facebook, YouTube are all at Below Average Brothers. Instagram is _Below Average Brothers. I've been seeing a lot of people follow us, and we're trying to follow people back, try to expand our reach. TikTok is Below Average Brothers. I think I already said that. Twitter at Below Av Brothers. Y'all go follow us. Y'all continue to like and download and subscribe to our podcast. Go watch our YouTube channel. I've been seeing the views are rising, and we're talking about in this show that we may do a YouTube only or even a YouTube live, that for something for y'all to watch as we do it. We want to one day maybe go Instagram live, take some questions with fans. So you guys continue to support us, and we'll continue to do things to get you guys involved. And that's all we got. So good night, everybody.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.